What I would like to know about most and hear is some clarification on emotions and my personal relationship to them. I'm extremely adept at mental processing. Thoughts, it's like when you use your hands and your body, you get more coordinated. And so you can manipulate objects or cards, two tricks, or, you can just use your hands for more specific and incredible things. So mentally, I have that coordination to be able to reach for a topic and manipulate or interact with it.
Well, what that means is you are a strong focuser, which allows law of attraction to get hold of the thought and make it more. And your emotions let you know whether it's a thought that is productive in terms of what you want or not.
That is the piece that was missing from my own journey for a long time, and I'm so grateful that I have found it. What I desire greatly is those emotions, and many times it feels as if they're a little distant. I can sense them, and if I pay attention and focus, I can feel them.
Well, this business of molding energy is subtle, and that's why you're calling it distant. Those subtle emotions don't get louder. You just get better at discerning them. Esther has a bowl. A friend helped her find it. And when she hits it with the padded mallet, boom, it has the most delicious reverberation that lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. And sometimes, even 2 or 3 minutes later, she can put her ear close to the bowl and still hear it. And we said to her, every time you do that, that reverberation out to the universe never stops. Your ability to hear it comes to an end, but the vibration never stops. And so as you tune yourself to these frequencies so that you get a handle on what your emotions are telling you, then your guidance is more effective. One of the things we want to say to you is that when you meditate and you manage to quiet your mind, and you do it consistently enough that you can easily get to that detached state, that makes you more sensitive to all of these frequencies so that you can be more aware of negative emotion at early, subtle stages. And it's such a good thing to be aware at early, subtle stages, because we were teasing with all of you earlier, and not so teasing when we were talking about once you get hold of a thought, you can't just stop it all at once. But if you're really sensitive, if you're really tuned in, and you're sensitive to what aligned thought feels like and what misaligned feels like, if satisfaction is meaningful to you and you can tell when it starts to tip the other way so that you're able to catch it in the early, subtle stages, then in time, no negative momentum ever needs to get a foothold, because you can just feel it soon enough and head it off earlier. Most don't head it off earlier, and you need a good night's sleep. When you slumber, did you know that momentum subsides? And so when you wake up, you have a better option about which way you get it going. So what is it that you want to talk about? We answered it all. There's a strong basis, but is there something specific that you want to talk about relative to emotions?
The encouraging, because the momentum, and that's what it's all about. I've gotten past the point where I'm needing the objects and the manifestations. I am now tuned in and excited about the process and whatever steps and however many steps that would include.
Because you're satisfied, or because you're taking score of how close you're getting to the manifestation?
Because the path is the satisfaction.
Good.
But I want to feel that satisfaction stronger. I want to have that more
slow
visceral
down,
experience.
Savor a little more. And this conversation that we're having today with you will help. Because when satisfaction is the goal, not the manifestation, now you've got it. When the manifestation is the goal and it hasn't manifested, then there's going to be automatic dissatisfaction, which just slows the whole thing down or even stops it. But when the satisfaction is the goal and you are satisfied, now you're queued up for something even more satisfying.
Meditating in the day, and I've meditated for a long time, many years, and only recently have I meditated with the specific intention of feeling good, kind of with just a letting go.
Yeah.
I was always trying to achieve something. And so a couple days ago, really for the first time, when I had a word to put to it, I was meditating, and I think my timer got deactivated somehow, and I was meditating longer than I anticipated. And all of a sudden, it just felt like I was a light bulb turning on and just filled with this glow and presence. And then I got really excited and tried to focus on it, and it sort of...
And lost it.
And I pushed it away.
That's all right, but that's sort of getting ahead of it. But one of the things that we really want you to focus on, and you'll recognize it as we say it, and next time you meditate, you'll recognize it even more. And that is when you're feeling satisfied with where you are, and the vibration is received by you, that's when the vibration turns to a thought. In other words, the vibration doesn't turn to a thought and then that's why you receive it. It's a vibration that you receive and you translate the vibration into a thought. We've never said that to anyone before. It's important to know that. You are the translator of the vibration into the thought. So therefore, you manifested the thought.
So if a vibration is being sent and like there's two people in a room and the vibration hits them, they will translate the same vibration into two unique thoughts.
Each will receive them through their own lens. Yeah, but these thoughts that come from non-physical, they are powerful and clear. And oh, how much fun it is if there are two of you in the receiving mode receiving the same thought at the same time. That's when there is a recognition of the clarity of the thought. For a little while, we're talking about a week or two or three, when you're thinking in terms of emotions or feelings, let the emotion that you are reaching for, the emotion to which you are looking and from which you want to receive satisfaction, let it be the thought of clarity. Clarity. I don't want this empire that I'm building. I want clarity. Because clarity is something that you often achieve. That's why you described yourself as you did. When you were in that place of non-resistance and you're focused upon something and you're wide open, that's why that mental feeling is so exhilarating. And that's why your thoughts can go so far so fast. So as you're reaching for clarity, the feeling of clarity, not the manifested thought of clarity. Can you feel the difference? We're out here on the leading edge, so come along if you can. But what we're really talking about is you're meditating and you're reaching for that feeling of detachment, and that's all you're reaching for. Because if it's too strong, it'll take you out of it. There's a subtle realization that you are in that feeling of detachment. So now you just relax into that feeling of attachment with an attitude of satisfaction because you've accomplished what you're reaching for. You're satisfied because you are detached. And you're still satisfied because you're detached. And you're not trying to think of anything, and you're not trying to get some big answer to some big question, because that messes it up. When you try to turn meditation into answers to questions, you don't do the job of meditation. Let the job of meditation, let it do its own job, and then you get into that quiet place where you can be the receiver. And when you receive a thought, then bask in that just for a moment. I've received this thought. Let yourself feel the full satisfaction of that. Satisfaction is such a perfect word. Your inner being is transmitting a thought to you. In your soft easiness, when you receive it, which means when you translate it into something meaningful, that feeling of satisfaction that you then receive is your own inner being's enthusiasm message received. You see what we're getting at? So now you not only received the vibration, which you translated it into a thought, you also received the enthusiasm of all of us involved in the successful process that we just experienced together. You see what we're getting at? And once you get rolling like that, then that satisfaction just becomes more and more and more, and you feel like a mental ninja. It's like the thoughts just keep flowing, and the exhilaration is just stronger and stronger and stronger. But don't let yourself be carried away with the thoughts. Stay on the feeling, because that way it can really gain a lot of momentum before you receive the big thought. And once you get that big thought, it's an impulse. It makes you want to leap from your chair and move into action. In other words, you just can't sit there with that quieted mind any longer. The momentum is such that now movement is required, and response from you is required, and contact with others is required, and so forth. The other day, Esther was at the airport in San Diego, and she was flying out to San Antonio. So she was there early. She likes to do that. And she was sitting at the gate at the Southwest Airlines. So there were a lot of people in the area and lots of gates. So she sat over there and just basked in the deliciousness of humanity. It was quite fun. Lots of children. And then she moved over there, and then she moved over there. She was just kind of following the impulse, moving over there and moving over there, with no wanting to get away from anything. No, that looks like a better place to sit. Just an impulse. Think I'll get up, move a little bit, roam a little bit, and then she sat down again. So she had moved about 5 times in the gate area. And now she's sat down, and she's enjoying the moment. There's a man sitting next to her who she hadn't even noticed when she sat down, and he had his phone up to his ear, listening to something with no earplugs. And she heard the word vibration. And then she listened a little keener, and she realized it was Abraham. So she tapped him on the shoulder and said, and so he was very excited. He said, "Oh, my daughter is not going to believe this." And Esther said, "Then we really should take a picture." And so he took a picture, and then he said, "I've got to call her." And he got her message. And so Esther said, "Let's call her back and I'll leave the message." And Esther said, "Well, are you going to San Antonio too?" And he said, "No." And Esther said, "Then why are you at this gate?" And he said, "I don't know." So his impulse was to sit there, and Esther roamed around a good deal before her impulse was to sit there. But what a fun time. What a fun thing. In other words, because things are always leading to things, are always leading to things, are always leading to things. There is nothing when you are in the receiving mode that your inner being is transmitting to you that you could potentially receive that isn't part of a path that's important. And so once you start flowing like this, then you begin realizing, and here's the thing that we really want you to hear. What's the ultimate outcome of that? Irrelevant. It's happily ever after. It's happy now, happy now, happy now. Don't try to make something of it. It's just happy, 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 happy. Yeah? Enough?